there, friends. It's me again, Instructor Faith, coming your way this time to continue on the teaching character development. Remember, your character is you. Your character is what tells people, even at the first impression, the person that you are. If your character does not, portray a good personality, it then means that your person is, needs improvement. And that is why I have come up with this topic. And so far, I want to believe that we have been benefiting. When you intend to pursue success, you must have the character that matches up with it. And so we will continue again to look at another wonderful character, another wonderful um, virtue that we should uphold. And this time around, we're looking at sensitivity. Sensitivity. Yes, when we look at that word sensitivity, it has many meanings. But I want to focus on the aspect that has to do with your ability to, look at your environment and quickly take decisions that will be for the good of all. Not just for you alone, but for the good of all. When we talk about being sensitive, we are looking at displaying a quick and delicate appreciation of feeling for others. You have this sense of appreciation. You have this good emotional disposition towards others. Then, when you have such, you should be able to stay with people because you are sensitive to their needs, you are sensitive to their concerns. It becomes very easy to relate with them. It becomes very easy to walk in understanding with them. Now, when we talk about being sensitive, we're looking at having the ability to perceive, to process, and to respond deeply to one's environment. Somebody that is very sensitive does not just, live anyhow. You look at your environment where you have found yourself, before you take steps, you quickly put one on one together and reason your way out. You don't just go about being callous. You don't go about being careless. You put yourself, in the shoes of another, and you quickly look at things from their perspective. Say, okay, if this is how it is, then you now show a disposition of concern towards them. That's what we're talking about. We're living in a very time that, for me, many people are so insensitive. They don't just bother. They don't look at others. They just do whatever they do, and at the end of the day, it works against them. Their actions, tend to be at their own detriment. They thought, well, let me just do what I need to do, but they don't know that it will fall back on them. Such people lack sensitivity. Now, there's this story I am so um, deeply touched with. When I always look at the story, it just dawned on me that there's this saying that says, you do others, you are doing yourself. I don't want to speak pidgin English. There's a way they put it in the pidgin English in my locality, but let me just explain it. When you think you are being, um, you are just taking actions because it's you are justified to do it. You don't care who is affected and all that. In the long run, it's coming back to you. Yeah, remember, life is give and take. Yes, it hangs on the law of giving and receiving. So what you do comes back to you. So for somebody that is insensitive, the person doesn't care. He can do whatever he's doing anyhow. Doesn't mind who is being affected. But the person that is sensitive will put his or her shoes, himself or herself in others' shoes and look at things from their perspective before taking, action on what you want to do, before making decision. At the end of the day, not only is it benefiting others who he first put into consideration, he is also benefiting himself in the long run. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Now, today, we are seeing so much degradation, environmental degradation. Why? Because People just choose not to be sensitive. They just say, well, let me just quickly do this thing after all. You are not looking at the long run effect. You are just looking at the now. You pour your waste products from industries, you pollute the environment, you pour out you know your trash into the drains when it's raining, and at the end of the day, at the long run, the effect bounces back to you. So that your lack of sensitivity is paying you in return for taking such actions, not putting things into consideration. That's what has caused so many flooding, so many erosion. People have lost their precious possessions. People have even lost their lives because of lack of what? Insensitivity. So don't be somebody that does not put things that happen around you into consideration before you just um, take steps or take decisions. No, no. Remember, he said being sensitive is having the ability to perceive, process, and respond deeply to one's environment. Be able to respond, positively to things that happen around you. Look at them, perceive things, process them before you come out with your decisions. That's what makes you what? Sensitive. Now, there's this story from Matthew chapter 18. In fact, I so much, look at that story and I learned a great lesson from it. Someone was a debtor to the king, and the king forgave him. Now he left the king's palace and saw his fellow servant who was owing him just minute of what he is owing the king. Now, he lacked sensitivity. Rather, he just treated his fellow servant in an ill manner. He wasn't careful of what was, playing out in his environment. He was not sensitive. He didn't know that others were watching. You were just forgiven now. What is expected of you is to also forgive others. That's what it is to be sensitive. You put yourself in other shoes. I've been forgiven. What will now make me not to forgive my neighbor? He was insensitive. He maltreated his fellow servant, forced him to pay what he was owing, unknown to him that others were watching. Now, news filtered into the ears of the king, and he took his judgment. He said, you are wicked. You lack sensitivity. I forgive you, but you did not forgive your neighbor. And they cast him into prison. What caused him that pain was lack of sensitivity. So when you are living in an environment, be very observant. Learn to perceive things. Learn to process things before you take actions, before you speak in return or react. Learn to consider others. Don't just behave as if it doesn't matter. It matters. Be sensitive, be sensitive, be sensitive. Have this ability to, perceive things that happen around you, process things, be smart, then respond deeply. Don't be shallow in your reasoning or approach. Be deep, because everything you do comes round again back to you. Remember, character is the core of destiny fulfillment. Until I come your way next time, remember, God loves you. He believes in you. So much potential as He has invested in you. Don't let it waste because of lack of character. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. And the top will always be your portion. Until we meet again next time, bye. Stay blessed.